Hey everyone, I finally got a chance to play the Warrior Edge 18K. Yeah, that's right, 18K carbon fiber face, the first of its kind. You want to hear about it? Stay tuned. First off, 18K implies the tightness of the pattern on the carbon fiber face that's pressed into these paddles. Remember, this is not truly carbon fiber. There's carbon fiber material underneath, and then there's a heat pressure thing that happens that presses this pattern into the peel ply here underneath it, right? And then that makes a pattern. So uniquely, when I first saw this paddle, the first thing I noticed was the pattern. Look at this pattern. Those of you that have grown up in my era, there was a game called Cubert. Remember Cubert? Cubert was the game, and you used to jump up and down these little blocks. If you look at this, this is a Cubert board, right? And the cool thing about this is that the pattern for these carbon fibers go in the shape of these blocks. And what they did is they alternated the angle to be perpendicular to the box that it's underneath it. So it's kind of this cool 3D print design looking thing. I can tell you this, I play a lot of different carbon fiber paddle faces. I think this is going to test very high on the spin charts because of the way this grabs. And let me tell you why I think that's so. When I shave this, when I clean the rubber, we take my rubber eraser and I clean the surface of this, it's finer grain of plastic that I'm taking off of it. A finer fuzz, almost like a peach fuzz that is coming off on this paddle. A smaller bit of ball is getting shaved every time this paddle hits it. And so that's different than the other paddles on the market. The other paddles on the market have a thicker grain that's left behind. So that's how I can tell that this is a tighter weave pattern. This is definitely a tighter weave. It definitely is 18K. And it performed very well. So let's talk about the spin chart from John Q Pickleball. Thank you, John Q, for these stats. This paddle is one of the top 3 paddles in his chart. One of the only 3 paddles on his chart to go over 2,300 RPMs in spin. It's right below the 6.0 Black Diamond, the Ronbus R116. It is one of the top 3. You look at this chart here, you can see where it falls in line with the other paddles of its like. I would also put the Legacy Pro on top of this because on other people's spin charts, it has one of the top spins on other charts. So I'd also put that one on top of the 18K for spin. Okay, let's talk about the normal specs. This is an 8-ounce paddle. It is 16.4 inches long. It is 7.6 inches wide. It's a slightly head heavy, so swing weight around 114. That has not changed with this different peel ply on it. It's the same swing weight. It's got a 5-inch handle and a 4 1/8 inch circumference handle. I've always liked the feel of the Diadem brand handles because even with the thicker Warrior, they taper it down to where it's the same size handle as what you feel here. Let's compare this to the original one. Now, the main things that they changed obviously is the face. You can see the difference in the face here. Obviously the spin. You are 2,300 RPMs versus 1,400 RPMs when it comes to spin. So this is a top tier spin paddle. This is a non-top tier spin paddle. The other adjustment that they made is the edge guard. You can see the edge guard here. The edge guard on the old model is ribbed. You can see that here. The new model is beveled. This one here is beveled. This new model is going to be easier to put the lead tape on because the bevel goes outbound. So they heard the criticism of this ribbed version. The ribbed version was a lot less easy to put the lead tape on. This new version here now has a nice round beveled edge so you can put your lead tape anywhere you want because this paddle's only around 7.9. You know, for those that are used to a little bit more weight, put perimeter weighting on this thing is going to be like butter. The sweet spot's going to be the size of Texas. This paddle is going to feel supremely solid, so it's definitely worth the swing for you. This is a paddle, the Edge, is one of the ones that I go to in my bag quite often. I think it's one of the better blocking paddles on the market. It is not a thermoformed edged paddle. It does have foam around the edges, but they don't call it the same technology, the same terminology. It's made differently, but they've always been doing foam around the edges of their paddles. They've been doing it in their tennis rackets. They've been doing foam around their edges forever. So that's not new to them. I don't think they use the same process, so that's why they don't call it the same thing. But this paddle is one of the best blocking paddles that I've ever played with. And when I say blocking paddles, it's very muted feel. I love muted feeling. I like the new thermoform paddles. Don't get me wrong. Like, I love playing with my double black diamond. It's one of my favorite paddles to play with. But I like a little bit more of a muted feel. I like a little bit more of the feel of control. I like a little bit bigger sweet spot. That's just who I am. I don't hit the sweet spot always. I take my eyes off the ball, and so I don't always hit the sweet spot. So I need something that around the perimeter is a solid paddle. And so because this paddle's a little bit more head heavy, this is top 10 in swing weight, right around the 120s if you look at this chart. I really like the swing weight around the 120s. I find that they're the better blocking paddles. They feel really good and solid when you're volleying or blocking. The other ones feel a little bit too poppy to me, so the top ones on this chart I can't keep in the court when I'm hitting with power shots. With this one I really can. Really good volleys here. As you can watch me play here with Andrew against his drives, I really feel like this is one of the better blocking paddles. I've always enjoyed the Warrior paddles, the Edge and the original Warrior, for blocking, because I always thought that they were very solid feeling paddles. Because they're Generation 1 polypropylene core, obviously they're going to be a little bit more muted, a little bit more control oriented. Unlike the new thermoformed unibody paddles, these Gen 1 paddles feel really muted, but really controllable, really big. You can see my volleys here, the way I was able to put pressure on Andrew on all his drives and be able to move the ball around in the blocking and the volley. This would feel more like the Electrum Model E's, the Electrum Elite, SLK Halo, Carbon 1X. I'd put the Grooven paddles in there. Actually, a lot of the Grooven lines would fall into this same category of feel. The Grooven E, the Grooven X's, any of the 16s, all feel very similar to this paddle. Power and pop. I thank you, John Q, for this chart here we're going to look at, but I also agree with him with his definition of power versus pop. Power is defined as the way a full swing, when you're putting a full swing on the ball, that would be the power, the amount of power you can generate full tilt with a paddle. That would be power. Pop would be the responsiveness to punch volleys or blocks at the kitchen, things like that that we call very short half strokes to just see how the ball pops off the face. Difference between power and pop. Thanks again, John Q, for this chart. We're going to talk about this. Middle of the pack for both of these, right? This paddle is not the most powerful paddle. It is a very solid all-court control paddle, but I would not put this on the power paddle market. This is a control paddle, not a power paddle. So the pop and the power is going to be mid-tier. It's going to be right in the middle of the pack of all the ones tested here, as you can see by the chart. Love the feel of this paddle because of that control. Because it's all court, you can see why it would be great paddle for any situation you get yourself into. But let's talk about performance on all the shots. In the dinking, in the kitchen, this paddle is amazing. I've always loved the feel of this paddle. That's why it stays in my bag, which I will be doing a segment later about what paddles are in my bag and why. And so I'll talk about the top 10 paddles that I play with because I play with all 10 of them regularly because I like them, and I like them for different reasons. So this guy here is one of the ones that in the kitchen, I feel like any shot I'm hitting in the kitchen is simple to hit. It feels very controllable because of the muted feel here, and because this is a very good blocking paddle and very solid. You can really hold a light grip with this guy, and because it's 8 ounces, it doesn't shift very easily. And with a light grip, you can still get whatever you need out of this paddle at the kitchen line. But if you look at these shots I'm hitting when you're dinking with this paddle, man, just like I said earlier, you can put this ball anywhere. Watch these shots I'm hitting. I'm able to put it on anywhere I want on Andrew. I'm able to move him around. I'm able to put spin, generate spin from the kitchen line with this. Dinking, not a problem with this paddle. Resets, this is another one that I would put this paddle in the top tier for me with resets. Getting hit at, resetting from the middle in the no man's land, being able to just put the ball there, block it back into place, and get into the point again. This paddle's top tier for me, and that, love the feel. A lot of Gen 1 paddles feel like this. Dink feels like this. Electrum Model E, Grooven Model E. A lot of them feel very good, soft, muted feeling when you're in very controllable with resets and block type shots. So that's Gen 1 in general. Love the resets here because I can do anything with it. And then obviously the third shot drops, the things that require touch and spin, this paddle accelerates. Look at the shots I'm able to hit with this. Third shot drops like it's my job. I'm able to put cut spin on it. I'm able to put side spin on it. I'm able to put top spin on it because of the spin this paddle can generate. And because of the spin, I found myself tempted to do more spin and brush strokes at the kitchen. I don't recommend that if you don't do it often. I don't do it very often. I got my partner killed a few times because I was trying to lift something and put spin on it. I had no reason doing it, but I was just trying to see what the paddle could do. Got him killed. I was trying to hit a little bit more spin with it, and I was comfortable with it. Anytime I was brushing the ball, this paddle feels phenomenal. When it cuts across that ball, it just bites and grabs it and throws it. And so it really feels good when you're hitting those types of shots. So that's at the kitchen. Phenomenal 10 in the kitchen. Resets, anything from no man land, anything that involved touch. Third shot drops, no man lands resets. Resets from kitchen blasts. This paddle's great. This paddle's a great blocking paddle. I still find that with people's drives, when I'm blocking, or I can block it and do something with their drives because this paddle has good feel and is good solid blocking. Third shot drops, very good control. And with this spin, as I started, trusting that spin, I was able to let my wrist go a little bit more and snap it even more and get more spin out of this thing. So I found myself trying to hit cuts. I found myself trying to hit roll shots, backhand roll shots down the line. I really enjoyed the spin that I got on this paddle. I do appreciate the fact that they got the word edge out of the middle and put it over to the edge because it's better over here. It doesn't get in the way of the spin. But take a look at the print here just so you can see the tightness of this pattern. I'm going to show you two different magnifications here just so you can see the tightness of this pattern here. This is the first one of its kind. We're going to see a couple things. One, does it hold up? It's still T700 carbon fiber. It's not, Toray Japanese type, which it does make a difference. I don't care what people are telling you or what you're hearing. Any type of material difference in grade makes a difference. Japanese matcha tea is different than Chinese matcha tea, than different than Eastern Asia matcha tea, right? But there's a top grade that they go and they have contests and they grade and they say, this one's the top grade. So they do that because materials do matter, all right? So look at this pattern. The pattern's really tight. We're going to see if it holds up. So the question is, one, does it generate more spin? So we got to get somebody to test that for us. Does it generate more spin? And does it hold up? Like, how many hours can I get out of this without this thing going bald, right? Because there's two schools of thought. Well, it's gonna wear out less because there's more rows to distribute the impact. And that could be true. We don't know. This is the first one of its kind. So I'm going to be very curious to see how long I can play with this guy without it going dead or feeling dead. As far as the cores, I love the cores of these paddles. Like I said, it's one of my favorite blocking paddles. Drives with this. Now, because of the swing weight on this, and it's a 120, I thought the drives with this thing were ridiculous. I mean, I still think that this is one of my better driving paddles. One of that is because of the shape of the handle. I do like the hexagon shape of the handle. It's very pronounced bevels, as you can see right there. That makes it where you can really feel where your hand is at on the paddle, which I think is very imperative. Especially, I'm a non-tennis guy, I'm a non-racquetball guy. I played volleyball, I played football, I played just about every sport other than tennis. I was self-taught in tennis. I got up to about a 4.0 level, completely a hack. But self-taught, and so there's certain things that I just don't do naturally that tennis guys do. But I found that this paddle was able to help me in some of that hand changing and making the handle be in different positions and feeling that with my wrist. It really, really helped. But the drives on this thing were ridiculous. If you can look at these drives I'm hitting here, man, I was able to put a ton of spin. I can tell this is a top tier spin paddle, 2,300 RPMs. Look at the dip I'm getting on these drives. When I get myself into the right position, I was able to hit 10, 12 drives in a row with zip and dip, baby. Zip and dip with this paddle. Now, obviously, it's not the super powerful paddle, but look at the dip I'm getting on this, dropping at the kitchen line. When I hit 50, 60%, this thing's dipping at people's feet at the kitchen line. It was ridiculous when I got this in the right spot. You can really get through the ball. I'm gonna call it plow through because that's the only term I know that I've been taught in this industry. So if you know a better one than plow through, hey, I'm all ears. Tell me which one it is. To get through the ball with this, because of the higher swing weight, I found that you could just snap through the ball. And because of this grip, you're able to snap through and roll because of this face. If you listen, you can hear that it's very, very fine grain here. And so it really grabs. And so I was able to really just get over shots and just have it dip at the kitchen. But I was able to put the ball away. If they lifted anything up, forget about it. The ball's a goner. This thing, it has put away power. Great us to keep the lights on, to keep doing this content for you. Diadem and these other companies send us paddles for free so we can review them for you to hopefully help you make a good choice if you are wanting to know some information about these paddles. So thank you so much for supporting us. I don't think you can go wrong with this paddle. You can check it out and even do some of the demo programs like I was talking about earlier. The demo programs give you 30 days to try something. You can try a paddle out and within 30 days, give it back and try a different model. So I suggest if you're kind of on the fence and you're watching all these reviews, get one of these paddles in your hands. Or if you have somebody at one of your places that is playing one of the paddles, try and hit it. Say, hey, could I just hit that for a couple times? I was thinking about buying one, and tell me what you like about it. People in Pickleball are super nice that way. And so our affiliate code link is down below. You can use that, and that helps support our channel. But if you don't like Diadem's models or you want to try a different model, check these out here. I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Here is my handle, here is my spout. When you tip me over, pour